So for everybody who's tuning in, thank you as well. From Puzzle Innovation side, again, Tiago here and Falco. And
hi, also from my side, and thank you for tuning in.
Cool. So since we last saw each other, we saw yesterday a lot of cool chaos happening. A lot of people jumping in, jumping out. A lot of things happened. A lot of movement, a lot of excitement, and already a lot of work. So we're happy to be again here today with you. Hopefully we can give some more useful support to you as well today. So just as a recap, as you see yesterday, it was all about getting to know each other, right? So we talked about the dialogue guidelines, how you can communicate with each other effectively. We also shared with your coaches and with some of you an activity for team building called the self-portrait. Perhaps some of you did it, perhaps someone didn't. And then we spoke to you about the innovation journey as far as we see it, and what we see is relevant for the context of this Climathon. We provided some guidelines for problem statement creation, formulation. Hopefully you've been quite successful in doing so. And then we talked a little bit about defining the context of your problem statement, particularly with the past, present, future map that Falco explained yesterday. And we would like to invite you also to, if you work on the past, present, future map, to share it with everybody. Share how it went, how it looks right now. Give each other inspiration. Let everybody know the fruits of your work. We think it would be really cool to see everything which is happening around the challenges. But today, it's all about getting stuff done, right? It's about finding solutions. It's about building a business model around your solutions, your products, your services, defining the strategy to bring it to life. And also as one of your deliverables, you'll have to give a pitch. So we'll touch a little bit about storytelling at the end. But first, we'll also talk about team culture. And why we talk about team culture, because with this Climathon, we don't want to stay just at the prototyping, crystallizing phase, as you see. We want really the solutions that are created here to go out into the world, to create benefit, right, to create an impact. And in order to do so, team culture will be very important, but I'll touch a bit more on that in a second. Before, here is the overall view of the innovation journey as we presented it yesterday. And we would like to tell you, if you feel like things are a bit difficult at the moment, maybe you feel a bit lost, maybe you feel a bit frustrated at this point, we have good news for you. Good news is that this is exactly the right point to be in. Because if you feel like this, probably you're at the bottom of that unknown point, sensing, questioning, wondering. And that's a good place to be. It doesn't feel always easy and nice, but it's a good place to be. And today you'll see that as you build on it, as you find answers, things will start going up. You'll start figuring out what is new for you that you know, and you'll start bringing all the pieces together. So don't worry, just keep going and keep breathing. So again, as we before we dive into all the things that you need to do today, why team culture is important. And a lot of times the success of a team or organization depends indeed on the team culture. Even we know a lot of investors and business creation managers that support a lot of startups. They look more to the quality of the team and the strength of the team rather than the potential of their product or their service. Oftentimes, this is really what defines how much support a new venture is getting. And if you think of bigger companies, sometimes there are merges between organizations, or there are carve-outs, or even inside an organization when there's a new project, a new team being formed, a lot of time and a lot of resources are put into redefining and readjusting the culture. And we have the example now of the COVID-19 crisis, also the major topic of this Climathon. You know, it is the organizations that are more able to adapt quickly and to sacrifice and to fight for survival that will succeed. And a lot of this really depends on having a strong culture where people believe in the mission, they trust that they will be taken care of, that their interests are being defended, and they also want to be there for their teammates and for their colleagues. Now, when we talk about culture, is obviously not what usually is meant by culture on a national level or as an organization identity. We also all have our own personal cultures. And it's how all of those come together from the values and beliefs that we get from our family, also our experiences throughout life with our friends, the meaning behind the words and the power that they carry that depend also on our native languages. Perhaps we have people from all around the world. So a lot goes into what defines your own culture, and a lot goes into what can define also your team culture. So we have here a proposal of different focuses that we invite you to dive into and explore as a team. So the first of all is, what are your values? So what do you stand for? And this is something that is very crucial for your pitch later. Svalko will explain more, and also for your marketing purposes. So what are you all about? What do you really stand for? So this can be, you know, you're all about sustainability. Maybe you're engaged in social responsibility. Maybe you want to give an image of honesty. Maybe you're a company that really strives for perfection. And it can also be that you're a team which is profit driven, which is a wonderful thing to have as well. I can think of, for example, a fund manager. You know, profitability, being able to generate profit out of the resources of their clients is clearly their biggest value. And this is also important. So you need to define what those core values are for you. And then what are the behaviors that you want to foster inside your team? So how do you communicate and how you organize yourselves? This means, you know, for example, what are the roles and responsibilities need to be clear, and how perhaps these will shift over time. And then how do you want to speak to each other? How casual, friendly, or how formal you want to be inside your team? How frequent you want to be engaged with each other? And perhaps also in these times, you know, do you have the chance to meet in person? Is it all going to be virtual? It's good to have a clear picture of this so that you can have mutual accountability and self-responsibility. And then strengths. Now we just want to look beyond what we are good at. So all the knowledge and skills you have, it's good to be aware of what those are. And we want to go a step further. oftentimes, especially in the beginning of an organization, as we are also experiencing in our small venture as Puzzle Innovation, is what are the things that also you don't like to do, but you're capable of doing. And it's important to know that you can contribute even when you don't feel like, but it's necessary. And it's good that everybody is aware of what those are for themselves and what those are for each other, so that you can push each other towards greatness. Then, indeed, what is lacking? So maybe you want to learn and improve further. Maybe you also need to acquire new people that have different skills and knowledge to fill in those gaps. So that's pretty straightforward, but it is good to be aware of that moving forward. And then if you want people to buy into what you're doing, believe in it, and support it, it's good to have a strong vision. And that comes with what are the contributions that you want to have? What are you in service of? What is the impact that you want to have in the world? What is the benefit that you will create? So why should you be in existence as a team? And why would your product, your solution, your service belongs out there in the world, because it will serve for something that will make this world a better place. So if you define all of those, it will really, really help you tell your story later and evolve as a team. Now, enough of the soft stuff, and let's get to the things that we really want to get concrete and productive today. And Falco will tell you a little bit about that.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Thiago. Hello, everybody out there. I hope that you are doing all good and energized after the yoga session this morning as well. And let's get into the concrete stuff as Thiago was saying it. I would like to remind you of the power a well-crafted question has, because this is something which can help you as a team to align and to coherently put your energy into one focused element and go forward, right? So question drafting is really important. And throughout the day today, you will very likely have 2 or 3 different types of meetings. I would like to suggest 2 right here for you, which you can work on. And later on, I will provide also templates as yesterday, which you can use in order to answer part of these questions and capture it all on the written documents. Now, one type is the implementation meeting. An implementation meeting is you look at what is good or what good would look like, what is the goal, where you want to go, what are we doing to get there, and what's working and what's not working. And from this, you can move on to the strategy meeting, which is which direction are we heading, what are we creating together, how will we get there, what do we know, and what do we not know. So yes, Europe, as the Climathon organizer, is asking all of us to deliver by tomorrow 2 different deliverables. One of them is filling in a PowerPoint template with a lot of questions, and the second one is a 3-minute pitch. For the first deliverable, I would like you to use, or I suggest you using our template, which is the business model canvas. Not exactly the business model canvas. We have slightly adapted it to the needs which you would need in the first deliverable. I want you to focus here, especially on the middle part, the solutions, products, services. As you have been yesterday spending a lot of time in your problem statement, this yellow box in the center, this is your solution statement. And the solution statement is as difficult to draft as a problem statement as well, because every single word counts. But rather formulating it as a question, you formulate it indeed as a statement. And I want to give you an example here, and the example of Amazon. Amazon's solution statement is to build an online platform to sell any item to any person at any time, anywhere in the world. And you can see that every single word of this solution statement is important to the mission they are achieving. I do believe they are achieving at the moment because they are one of the few companies which are excelling in this COVID-19 crisis. After having your solution statement, you go to the customer. Who is your customer? And here, really important focus on one customer type. Right? I've seen in the past teams were focusing on, or not focusing, but they were working with different customer types, different market segments, and that created a lot of confusion and a mess, and it was really difficult to streamline the whole thing. I agree that you are very likely having more than one customer, but who is the one customer which is your profit generator? How do you create profit from that one customer? Because this is how you kick off. And this is how you enter the market. That's what you should focus on for now. Brings me to the next point, also in green, the profit generators. Any type of revenue model, you can write it down there, which fits to your solution. And then I want to focus you on resources and costs. Resources includes all types of resources except money, right? So partners, people, regulation, policy changes, all type of different resources which you would need to make it happen going to there. And then there is another field, cost. And I don't want you to write down, it costs 150,000 euros. That's not really helpful for nobody. What I want you to write down there is the type of cost which you're going to face while implementing and running your business. This might include production cost, maintenance cost, delivery cost, human resource cost, different types of categories you can put down there. And you can prioritize them, like from the one which you think will have the biggest impact on your business to the lowest. With this business model, there are two more steps which I think deserve a specific focus because it's also part of your deliverable, which is in the top left corner, the major milestones, and the bottom right area, which is the next steps. The next steps are really on the short term. What are you going to do with the 3,000 euros you're going to win on Monday or Tuesday? What is it you're going to do with them right now? And what are your major milestones which you need to achieve within the next months, eventually years, in order to make a business or your service, product, project successful? Now, with these major milestones and the next steps, you can put them into what we call a choreography. A choreography includes different work streams, different areas of attention. For example, production, design of product, building a team could go into that. And then you put like milestones depending on when this is supposed to be realized and how long it will take. Also, you can all visualize this in this template. And this will help you to get an overview of everything which needs to be done at what time. And you can play around with it. You can move it around. You can see maybe this fits better with that part. And there's an overall event happening at that moment. So maybe we should shift this forward. So it's really interactive to do this. And it helps a lot. With these two templates, you basically have all the analytical parts of your business which you need to present. These are the two most important. But if you go out there and you try to network and you try to investor, the analytical side usually is not enough. Our brains work on two sides. One is the analytical area, the other is the emotional area. And this brings me to storytelling. Storytelling is really important. Storytelling like approaches your brain on both sides, the emotional and the analytical side. A good friend of mine, his name is Alan. I studied with him in 2013. He's from Iran. In his childhood, his grandmother died on a family event. She died of a heart disease. She died because there were no measurements taken up front to test her, and nobody was aware that her heart is not functioning correctly. And this was haunting him. This was from the problem state in the third category, like he couldn't sleep at night because it haunted him that there are millions and billions of people out there who might have this risk carrying along with them. and they don't know it, and they might just die eventually. So he developed what he calls the complex disease detector, which is an application which you can use in order to analyze your environment, your habits, and it gives you with a 95% accuracy if you have a risk of a heart disease. And that is great because with this you go to the doctor and the doctor runs the real tests. And he's major successful with this story. He's really good. He's in the Forbes 30 under 30 list. He won many national, international prizes. And this is where I want to go with you here. You need to tell a story. It's really important that you know your internal motivation, you know your team motivation. Eventually there was an event in the past which triggered you in order to work into that direction. You need to tell that story because that is what captures people. Now in the deliverable 2, which you need to have to hand in tomorrow, you have 3 minutes, 180 seconds. That's roughly around 500 words, which you can say. Start with a question. People listen to questions. If you start with a question, make a little break, give the audience some time to reflect actually, and then you give the answer to that question. Now the question, in theory, you already have it, because yesterday we were all working on the problem statement, which we started with how do we. If you have that question, take it, perfect. Bring the solution. The solution is your core message. This is your key, that's what you want to transmit to the audience. So you fill your core message, you fill it with examples, you fill it with metaphors, you fill it with objects, you fill it with numbers on the analytical side, right? And then in the very end, you conclude the whole thing. You talk about your team, your personal interest there as well, and you give the numbers, right? This is the combination of both. You don't need to put everything from the business model canvas and the choreography into your pitch. You don't need to put everything there because it's already in the business model canvas and in the choreography, right? You hand in these documents already. The pitch is really about imagining the audience and how you capture that. And you have a total of 3 minutes to do so. If you have any questions, if you want us to listen to your pitch once and give you feedback, we're really open to do that. So just drop us a message on Slack or LinkedIn or whatsoever. Now, obviously, you're wondering why the hell is there a banana on this slide? And I want to tell you that there is absolutely no reason for having a banana on this slide. It was just for capturing your attention from the very first moment and make you curious about what is there. I'm not sure if it worked or if it didn't work, but now we can use this metaphor basically as a metaphor, this banana as a metaphor, as an object for us to remember how important it is to tell a story. Now, with this, I want to conclude and finish our second presentation on this event, our last presentation. It was amazing to be able to have this opportunity. I want to thank also Yes Europe for this opportunity. And I want to wish all of you a lot of energy, a lot of joy, really to go into the next 24 hours. I would like to remind you to share what you have captured also in the Slack channel with other people to really create a global movement here. And with this, I want to say goodbye. Again, thank you a lot. And maybe Thiago, you have some last words?
Yes, so just to tell everybody that all the templates that you saw during our presentation, we will make available in the main Slack channel. So from the team culture criteria to the business model and the choreography that Falco explained, we will put up a PDF that you can then, if you're using Miro, download it, upload it directly there. And also regarding storytelling, we will provide a script with all detailed information, even beyond what Falco has mentioned. So I wish you a lot of success. Dive in, keep going, and have fun. And I look forward to see all the results tomorrow.